Now, at this moment, I want to introduce a great leader, that is Fred Ouko, who is the co-CEO of AD International, who is also a leader of an organization of persons with disabilities, to say a few words about why fair funding is so important for disability justice.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me and for insisting that I do 5 minutes, because, you know, I can easily do 10. Huh? Why fairer funding and why now? This is a question that brings us to the gist of this particular webinar. And we want to explore why now, why fairer funding. As all of you know that disability justice work gets more challenging in a time like this one where we are experiencing aid cuts. I'm sure you've heard about what is happening with USAID, with the coming in of a new administration. You've heard about official development assistance in the UK, what the announcement that has been made that is going to be reduced. You've heard from other countries signaling the reduction. The Dutch has already also, the Dutch government has also kind of given that signal. But this is the moment to discuss how funding systems can be changed to ensure that organizations of persons with disability and disability justice activists can do their transformative work based on their own priorities and experiences. It doesn't matter whether these cuts are happening or not, because there's still some money left, there's still some funding left, and that's the funding that we want it to be fair. That's what the Fairer Funding Campaign and this activist-led webinar is all about. Of course, organizational persons with disability and activists need more funding, but they also need better funding, more flexible, longer term, more accessible, to give them the power and control to do the work they need to do, and they know how best that work can be done, and to adapt to changing circumstances in difficult times. Because if it's flexible, if it's fairer, then they will know how to work around any sudden changes in the environment. This is currently not the case for most OPDs and activists. But there's hope. I believe there's hope. And to see all of you here today, I think that signals that hope, that we are actually listening and we are actually concerned that they should be, and we should be discussing why we need fairer funding and why now. There are already positive examples of different and more empowering funding practices around. We'll hear activists sharing some examples today, including participatory grant making and a network of solidarity and accountability among recipients of unrestricted funding. We'll also hear about the call to action for fairer funding. We encourage you to join this call and be part of the fairer funding community. This is not ads campaign. It was never meant to be ads campaign. This is not any single organization's campaign. It will never be any single organization's campaign. We are trying to help make a space and foster the connections to help that community come together. Community of activists, community of funders, community of INGOs, all who want to contribute to a transformation in funding practices for disability justice with local activists in the lead, because that's what it should be.